This morning, I want to speak from my experience of meditation. I want to share what I value about time spent in meditation and how meditation encourages my ongoing search for God, which includes self-exploration. Primarily, meditation puts me in touch with my dependence on God. It's about finding a way of attuning to God and being responsive to our loving God. Meditation allows God to uncover God's desire for God. God within me seeking to be known. God lets light in on this search. Those times when I'm aware of God within and sense that God has uplifted me is my own experience of God's awareness. And because of that, I name it a feminine one. This talk is not about how to go about capturing an awareness of God. I'm sharing my awareness of God and describing an individual approach and emphasizing how deeply aware I am of my dependence on God. It's not about me. It's about the relationship of God with me. Over years of reading, reflecting, and practicing what I find helpful, I've been encouraged to deepen my efforts with meditating. And I'm happy to use this brief time to share my beliefs about this form of prayer as a woman religious. I want to tell you what I value, what meditation means to me, and how this practice encourages me to focus on God's presence. It's helpful to quiet my mind, my body, and center on the God within. I need space to do this. I need to sit comfortably and to be at one with myself. It might be called intentional listening. Usually I begin with a scripture reading or some other motivating reading, often an incident reminding me of Jesus' words and actions that have resonated in my life and in my experience. Quietly, I pay attention to this awareness of God within, God motivating me. I could be remembering an event of time in the past when God's presence influenced ordinary events in a positive way, or modified a negative, chaotic condition and clarified it so that it does remind me of God. God taking continuous care of my needs. I call this witnessing what prayer does in life. It's also a reminder of my dependence on God. How good, ever vigilant is our loving God. Meditation helps sensitize me to connect, to finding a way. Responding to this awareness comforts me. Yes, moves me with gratitude, making me aware of God and God's love and God's loving care for me. Meditation also uncovers the space for God to uncover God's design for me. God within me seeking to be known. God allows the letting in of light. What an uplifting experience. Giving a positive feeling of self-worth God has uplifted me to share gifts given from the giver. To approach meditation means for me a treasured experience of listening within God's silence, listening to God's presence, allowing the feeling of being loved. I ask that through this sharing with you, all of us can be ignited by our desire for God. Focusing on being uplifted and motivated, I am moved to image God to others. Though this inner awareness be but a few minutes, this grace, this ability to grasp and experience your presence, O God, within me. In speaking thus, I'm telling God what God already knows. God is telling me, Rose, I love you. I want to keep motivated by listening to what God is saying. I seek to keep God's message of love in mind, and also to see God's presence in others and in other forms. God is love. Oh God, I need your help to recognize, to remember, to savor, to recall you are motivating and reminding me what is already accessible. Still, I desire to hang on to remember, and to recognize what you are doing in my life. God, you're giving me wonderful experiences. Keep on doing what you're doing. Most of all, help me to recognize the uplift is you. You, oh God, are uplifting, instructing, sustaining. Inspire me, motivate me to listen in silence to what you are saying, to pause, ponder. At times, I'm only able to keep God's tone in mind. And also, other times, I can perceive your presence in ordinary happenings especially, and in others and in nature. God is love. All who live in love live in God, and God in them. Thank you.